Yeah.
It's taking ownership of that understanding.
Right.
It's no longer something you gave me. It's what
how you took your understanding and incorporated into everything that you're going to learn from here on.
Huh.
And that's an important thing for the student, isn't
That
it?
better be included in the same $20, man. Charge me again.
Yeah, I got a twofer. But no, think about that, right?
No, yeah,
because
yeah.
the students are lost when they don't, and that's why if you skip over,
Right.
they didn't get enough of the understanding to put them into this new thing you're showing them. So you have to get it to a point where they're gradually climbing up that scaffolding to understand what happened before. So when they get to this new thing, they have an idea as to what to expect.
Yeah.
Right?
And you do have to go back and really point out, look, what does this remind you of? Or how does last week's lesson tie into this?
Right. So here's a classic example, right? When we teach, when you teach Perry plays trap.
Oh.
Right? Perry plays trap.
Right.
Perry plays trap.
What has to have been taught first?
Yeah. But the other part of that is now you go into Sinawali. Sinawali is this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at that, could I teach Sinawali first or could I teach Perry plays trap? Or Hubad Lubad, right?
Right, yeah.
Which one should come first? Right?
I mean, I would say Sinwali, but based on this conversation, you can go either way.
Yeah. Because once you understand the fundamentals of what you're trying to show,
Right.
scaffolding on either side works. Right? If I show you the Sinawali, which is, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Upper
Well,
A,
now,
heaven, earth, all
Perry plays trap, Perry plays trap. It's the same motion.
Right.
So we're not teaching you to swing a stick, we're teaching you the motion. So does it matter which way I go?
No, it's the scaffolding. It's what you use it for afterwards that matters.
Right. So the next thing that I'm going to show you, why I'm showing you Sinawali first and Hubad Lubad
Right.
or Perry plays trap second, is because I wanted to show you something with empty hands.
Right. Just
Right.
so you can see a correlation and start
Right.
thinking.
Sticks is doing this. Oh, but here's the hand part. Oh, okay.
Two-dimensional, yeah.
So now you're doing. Oh, now the elbow. Oh, the elbow is part of the stick because that's what I'm bringing forward. So that's where that comes in really handy all of a sudden, right? It's
Right.
like, oh, I get it now. Right. So when you, as a student, you're seeing both things. You realize, oh, we're not just swinging the stick.
Right.
We're learning how to use empty hands as well.
And the more connections you make on your own, the
Right.
stronger.
Then it becomes your scaffolding,
Right.
not mine, not what I taught you. Crazy, right? Kind of opens your mind up a little more now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it definitely does. Really thinking back, okay, what did he say? What did I understand? And what can fill the two?
Yeah, well, what's the takeaway from all of this? And how do I then teach this to somebody else?
Right.
What are the elements? Yeah, what are the elements that have to be there? Which means you go back to your lower scaffolds and say, oh, this was in place already. Oh, good, now I can teach this because we talked about that here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, so now you're scaffolding.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can even come in mid-lesson and be like, what were you talking about before?
Yeah.
No, I understand where you're trying to go. Because
Right.
I see where you are.
Yeah.
Oh. Talk about learning how to discern a situation, though. How to assess what's going on.
Well, it's almost the same thing, right?
Yeah,
Because
it's
once
a
you start-
template.
Yeah, it becomes a template for you to say, oh, okay, if A equals B minus C,
Right.
then blah, blah, blah must be true
Right.
as well. So you can go, either way you want to go.
Yeah, on either side of the equal side.
Yeah. See, so now it's a totally understanding. Oh, okay, now I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Now I understand.
Math
why-
is my thing. I like equations.
Right. But, and that's why I was saying, how am I teaching you, or what am I teaching you next? Right? Based on what I just showed you last week, the progression would be then what, right? Based on that, you say, oh, okay, I think I'm going to learn about this next. Because you should have an idea of what
Right.
would come next. And all of a sudden I'm showing you these things that, oh, this was the lesson.
This was would have been.
That's like $20.
Yeah, you waited for me to talk, give you something. Like, okay, let me push it in the direction it should go.
What else you got?
Oh man, right now my head is kind of buzzing on on this idea, and I'm just thinking back of all the times when the sense of control and aggression were being played with simultaneously in what I thought was a drill or just learning the angle. Oh my God, there's so much depth behind the simplicity that the bladed mind teaches that it took me 6.5 years to figure it out. And even then, I still needed a bit of a push.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm still trying to figure certain things out too.
No, but isn't that how it should be though?
Yeah. I mean, if we're ever evolving, then we're ever learning. You know.
Right. There's always more to learn. There's always something more to pick up.
You know, these things aren't something that we've always had in play because this is new.
No plateau.
We just constantly, and even with Danny, when he'll say, "Oh, hey guys, I had an idea." Oh shit, here we go. Quick, take notes. He's talking.
We're gonna be testing on this.
Yeah, take notes, hurry. But that's what he does, isn't it?
Yeah, no, he does.
Says, I was thinking about, when I was driving somewhere, I had this idea. Like, okay.
Yeah, and he spent like 3 days thinking about it before he told us about it.
Right. So we should always be that way. Mm-hmm. It should always be that you're constantly thinking about a new way to perform whatever we're doing, and not so much about the actual physical movements.
Not the understanding.
But the understandings of it, because we always say, don't look at it for what it is, look at it for what it could become.
Right.
Just that phrase alone tells us that we're constantly growing, constantly changing, constantly making a difference in how we're putting these things together. I mean, the results are going to be just like everybody else's, isn't it? Because we all have two hands to feet.
Yeah.
So the results are going to be the same. But it's how we think about it and how we put it into play
that will make them effective or not.
Yeah, as effective.
Or
not as effective, right? I mean, again, we don't discredit what everybody else is doing because for them it works and it's awesome.
You can make it work.
And that's why we have so many different schools that we now talk to.
Right?
Oh, yeah. We're talking to kaiju, we're talking to, jiu-jitsu people, we're talking to everybody who
boxers, personal trainers.
And that's what these conversations are all about. Is how do we perceive what everybody else is doing, and is there a direct correlation?
The human body.
The thing is, what they call one thing is we call another, but they're the same thing.
Right.
So that's not an accident.
No.
It's just the branding of it at the time.
Right.
That's what they
their
called
form
it.
of communication.
In
language.
In Filipino martial arts, you hear abanico or watik.
Right.
Same exact thing, but because they, in one parts of the island, that's how they spoke, and in another part it was another dialect. That was the only difference.
But even that. Because I've had conversations with Danny where he's pointed out that the verbiage sometimes there are small differences in the application of those movements. They become generalized, of course, because there's things passed down. But when you really start, again, like you're saying, find those the connecting points, the things that are all the same. Then you start seeing, there's a different mentality behind this particular name as there is to this one.
Well, yeah, and again, depending who you're talking to, and what parts of the Philippines that their system came from, you're gonna have a totally different understanding. Abanico and stuff. Yeah, I think it's more Spaniard. And if that be the case, then what did we get from Spain? The European fencing.
Fencing, yeah.
Right.
Forms. So
there's just totally different than, say, somebody in Kali or even Artemis. I mean, totally different, just because of the way the dialect came from and where it came from changed.
The how far did the colonial mentality spread?
Right.
And how much of it was taken into the art, how much of it was actually rejected.
Just like everybody does, right? You keep what works, toss out what doesn't. And that's always been the mind frame of the Filipino martial arts is that, and again, we aren't the only ones.
No,
doing it. Right. All of these guys. I mean, we learned the story from Bob that these 5 guys, 5 different guys decided, we're all going to throw in what we.
I'm going to attack you. You do some shit.
Yeah, you work against it.
It worked. All right, let's try it again.
Yeah.
Keep working. We're going to add it.
Yeah.
That didn't work. Throw it out.
Throw it out. Right. But so you a lot of the stuff that you're learning, somebody obviously has done it before.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna come up with anything new.
Yeah, I mean it's like reinventing the wheel. You can't.
No.
Once it's done, it's done. But how you see it, perceive it, and put it into application, that's what changes.
And I think, no, I'll take it back. I know for a fact that has always been my focus.
Right.
It's never been about learning an art. It's always been about how do I bring this to the forefront of my mind so it is cocked and ready to be used if needed.
You know, one of the things that I've always loved about Danny would always tell us, it doesn't matter what art you're teaching our way.
Oh yeah.
Right?
The Blade of Mind isn't a specific
It's
martial art.
it's not a martial art. It's a way of teaching and a way of thinking about how to be taught.
Right.
Right? We're teaching you how to take, you know, education.
I want to bring that phrase you just said. How to be taught.
Right. Yeah, because first I have to clear your mind to make sure it's blank enough that when I give you these things, you're understanding what I'm telling you. And then that carries over to all the new things that I'm going to give you.
Right.
That initial induction to the bladed mind has to be, how are you seeing this? If I show you this stick, if this is just a regular, give me a stick. Right? If I say, here's a stick, and my first question to Anusa is always, how many parts of this stick?
Yeah.
Right? And everybody will always say, oh, one, 'cause it's a stick.
It's a stick, it's round.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
one
So
piece.
and then we say, no, there's, 5. This is it, because that's the idea of the stick, right? It's just a tool, and the tool could be this. So these are the different 5 angles.
Right.
So once you start understanding that, then your mentality down the road then changes for everything. You start to see things differently based on the idea of, okay.
Yeah, like you said, what it becomes.
Right.
That's a
So-
tool for learning, but what it becomes is so much more.
right? So when you start looking at things like that, and that's the mindset of the lessons, does it matter whether I'm teaching Filipino martial arts, karate, kung fu, or anything?
No, you start breaking everything down to its most simplistic forms.
Right.
Understanding that form, and then adding whatever it is you want afterwards.
Right.
Then
Because once you start to do that, then it doesn't matter what you're doing. Now, we had a student by the name of Jordan. You remember him?
Yeah.
He was a college professor at State.
Handsome bastard.
Yeah. And we had a conversation one time, and he says to us, he goes, oh yeah, I'm using these ideas that you guys have been teaching me in my class, and it was biochemical stuff.
Yeah, biochemistry, yeah.
Yeah, and he said, yeah, I'm now I've turned all my lessons into the way you guys would teach it. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, I first start with gross motion of the thing, I do details, and then we do variations. I go, wow, and it worked. He goes, yeah, it works awesome. All the students are much smarter now, and they're getting faster.
They're actually understanding it.
So he took what we said
And applied it to
and
his
applied
teaching.
it to this biochemistry.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow. It's like, I would have never thought to do that, but here it is, he did it, and he said, yeah, it works great.
Yeah.
But, okay.
We didn't even set out to do that for him.
He just decided.
And he just decided that that's what it does. I use it for driving all the time.
Right.
I use what I learned here for keeping safe in a 45-foot bus, 18 tons down the road.
And again, it goes back to the idea that we're not teaching any fight skills. That's not what the Bladed Mind really was about. I mean, it incorporates, for us, it was Bikini, because that's Danny's base.
Right.
But then he incorporated all the way to learn it, the way he teaches it.
How to take everything away.
And then get rid of what was not really useful.
Right.
And only use the things that were in a combative situation where you could actually use it for that idea.
And the most useful thing is, how do you learn it?
How did you learn that?
How did you learn that?
And that's the crazy part, is that once you start to understand that part, then you can learn anything.
Right. Especially you, the individual.
Yeah.
How did you learn that?
Dude, I learn things so weirdly.
You're a little odd.
Yeah.
But
So, going forward, we had some really cool stuff, and I have to keep bringing up our future shows.
oh yeah.
Because we're going to really start to try to promote this. I want to.
We're going to start putting effort.
We're actually going to start trying to make something of this.
Oh my goodness.
Only because
it's becoming that.
Yeah, it's this thing is starting to grow. There are people wanting to be on here. There are people who have a lot to say.
Oh, we want to hear.
And we're just the fillers when we don't have a guest for the week.
Yeah.
You and I talk.
This is just
so don't mind us. We're just two guys having a
You can
conversation.
skip this episode, but come for the next one. Who do we have coming up?
The very next one is be Carlito.
Oh, Carlito Bonjack, yeah.
He is awesome.
Man in a wheelchair that can whoop you behind left and right.
Yeah, everything that we do, and he does it off of a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Amazing guy. And then shortly after him, or the weekend after him,
Right.
it'll be Mickey.
Oh,
Mickey
yeah.
Lopez.
Mickey Lopez.
This kid, he's incredible.
Yeah, he's a ball of energy.
Yeah, he has that never say die attitude. He just keeps going.
No.
He's like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, did
right?
the Ohana with him, and from the get-go, he's like, grab 2 knives, get in your stands, and just start moving. I was like, I don't know what we're doing, but we're doing it! And we're moving!
Yeah, he's
yeah.
awesome.
That guy is...
And then
intense.
after him, who do we have next?
Who do we have next?
Master Green.
That's
Number
right! 27, Master Green.
Yeah.
Master Green, yeah, that's... He's
gonna
an
be-
intimidating man.
Dude, he's scary.
He is.
But he is so nice.
He is very...
That's the crazy thing.
I know, but still, ever since I've met him, I'm like, I don't want to mess
yeah.
with that guy. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he's so quick to share something with you.
Oh, yeah.
I think like the first time I met him, I hadn't even learned his name, but we were already talking about this idea of roof blocking and why he does it up here. It was great. He just started sharing.
And then, the one that I'm really excited about.
Malia.
Malia. Yeah, she and I have been chatting, and she's a hoot. She's just a lot of fun to talk to. I can't wait, because and with her, I'm just gonna let her talk.
No,
We're just gonna let her talk
I have no
because
problem.
she's awesome. She's got a lot of stories.
Yeah, nice.
77 years worth of stories.
Oof. I bet you she kicked a lot of butt in her day.
Yeah, and so we got a lot of
Yeah.
good stuff coming up forward. And again, I just want to try to get everybody out there ready for this. Tell your friends, tell your families.
Like, subscribe,
have fun with us.
all the regular business. Just join us for these conversations. Add any comments, topics that you want to discuss.
Yeah,
If you want to be on the show.
Yeah, if you want to be on the show, or if you have any questions, throw them out there.
And again, it's not just martial arts. It's not just Kali. It's anyone who is out there wanting to learn how to learn better.
Yeah.
How to teach better.
And it's funny you said, because I also have a chiropractor coming up soon. We're just trying to find the right date for him.
Yeah, the human body is the human body, right?
Yeah, we need to know.
Well, and Dennis, because we get a lot of good stuff from Dennis, he said one of his masters, if you're going to learn how to break the body, you better learn how to fix it.
Put it back. Oh, shoot, the arm's sticking out. Give me there.
And I love that. And I need to get more on the healing cards.
So it's going to be really cool because, we're getting all these people involved in sharing their ideas through conversation. And I'm telling you, if you're not having a conversation, you're not learning anything.
You're doing something wrong.
Yeah, and all these people are coming in here with the idea that it's not just about their system.
Mm-mm.
It's just sharing. It's just giving information.
It could be one word, one phrase that has nothing to do with martial arts
Right.
that just triggers so much to go along with it.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah, so this is exciting time. I think, dude, I've been putting a lot of work into this, and I didn't. When we first started, I thought it was just for me, you, and a couple of students.
Right, for the bladed mind people.
Now, as I talked, like I talked in the Talking Stories,
Yeah.
we now have a responsibility to people
Right.
that we're talking to, because we're piquing that curiosity, and they want to know about different stuff and different ideas, and the other people that we bring in, their ideas on stuff. So, it's no longer about just me and you. It's
No,
bigger than
it
us.
has grown far beyond just the two of us, which is why we're just the fillers, because this has become about you guys.
Yep, definitely.
What are you guys taking from it? You are more important now. That fourth wall is now the more important part of this.
Yeah, we're just two guys chit-chatting away.
We do this on a regular.
Yeah.
But what you guys take away from it, that's the most important part. And man, I can't wait.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for those new episodes.
Yes,
I
please
think
do.
we're going to call it a night.
Yes,
now,
yes,
right?
we've reached about an hour time. We're trying to keep it a bit more steady on the time because we will ramble on. So again, thank you very much for joining us on this, the 16th episode
16th
of
episode.
Kali Conversation.
And I'm Rick.
And I'm Nain.
And this has been the 16th episode,
There
as you
go.
said,
Yes.
of Kali Conversation. So, see you guys next week when we have a really... We're going to be talking to Carlito, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that.
And again, like and subscribe.
Have a wonderful night.
And 3, 2, 1, cut!